So in addition to setup and hold checks, which are done in STA, there are some additional checks which are done. One of those check is clock gating check. So clock gating check is done on the clock gates or the logic which is present in the clock path. So what basically is checked is whether, similar to say setup and hold time, the clock enable should arrive or stabilize sometime before clock, and it should stay some stable after the clock edge. And which clock edge is used, it is dependent upon the clock, whether it's an AND based clock gate or a OR based clock gate. But basically, wherever there is clock gating or a combinational logic other than buffer or inverters present on the clock path, a clock gating check is done. So this is in addition to setup and hold check, which is done in STA. For async pins like reset, set or clear pins, there are additional checks which are done, are known as recovery and removal checks. So similar to setup and hold, when this on async pins of the flops or set or reset, basically async pins, set or reset pins of the flop, additional checks are done. These checks are known as recovery and removal check. In addition to that, you can have some specific checks which can be added in form of the constraints. For example, you want to say that D1 should come at least 30 picosecond before D2. There is a command in the constraint file or SDC file known as set data check, where you can give this restriction to the timing tool, and then it will do those checks. So in addition to setup and hold time, basically the other type of timing path checks which are done, one is clock gating checks, one is async pin related checks, which is recovery and removal check, and data to data check. Data to data checks are done by adding specific constraints in the SDC file, which then tool uses to do those checks. Typically, data to data checks are added for some specific timing requirements in the pin. Sometimes they are also added for CDC paths, so that like data, as in when there are handshake protocols, there are not too much delay between the data flows. In addition to that, what STA also checks, so for design to work properly or any library cells to work properly, there has when the signals rise from 0 to 1 or they fall from 1 to 0, there is a specific requirement in terms of how fast they can rise or what is the worst, or how slowest they can rise or fall. And this is given in the library, as in if the rise or fall are within those limits, only then the library cell will work as described in the library. And STA basically does, in order to ensure that, it does something known as slew or transition analysis. In the slew or transition analysis, STA will check that your rise and fall are within the specified limits of the library cell. And this is again check done in STA in addition to setup and hold checks, which we have been talking about. Doing setup and hold, yeah. So we talked about setup and hold check STA does, then it does clock gating check, then on reset or async pins it does the recovery and removal check. If you add user constraints, it does set data check. It checks slews, as in how fast or slow a signal can rise. One more additional check which STA does is pulse width check. And what is a pulse width check? Is basically, let's say, typically in the design, when a clock is going, it is, let's say these are buffers. When clock is going through the path, ideally the rise and fall delays of this cell, as in if you have a well designed, should be same. Okay, so basically when clock is rising or falling, ideally these delays should be same. But practically on clock paths, as in there will be some difference in rise and fall. And because of that, what can happen is the pulse of the clock can shrink. How it can shrink is basically you can have, let's say you have this original clock, and let's say rise delay is more. So basically this delay in rise, but fall delay is not the same amount but lesser. So because of that, pulse can shrink a little bit because rise will have more delay, so it is pushed more, while fall is not that pushed that much. That will cause pulse to shrink a little bit. Sometimes it can happen if pulse shrinks and becomes very low width, and then it is checked by STA, and it will report pulse width violation. What can be the minimum value of that pulse can be described or given in your either library or your design constraints, and STA will check wherever clocks are propagating, and basically the pulse of the clock is within the limit. If it's basically lesser than what the minimum limit is, it will report a violation.